Irving Mayor Al Zapanta, thank you so much and welcome to Eye on Politics.
Thank you.
So we're here at Pax and Beneficia Coffee in Las Colinas, and we're talking to you because you were just elected mayor.
Correct.
So congratulations on that. First question right out of the box I got to ask you. You're 85. You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
You're 85. Did you want to run for mayor? Most people your age was like, who needs it? I'm retired.
Jack, I'm going to make it really blunt, just like my father who made it to 96. You stop challenging yourself or you stop doing things that you enjoy doing and that you feel you can make a difference, you die within 3 to 5 years. I've seen so many of my friends that retired from Arco, oil and gas, Atlantic Richfield, or my military, and they just wait for the time to retire. And then whatever they're doing, but it's like you lose a reason for being. And no, I've got 3 retirements and I'm not done. This may be my last go around as city mayor of Irving. But I get up every day. I enjoy getting up. I enjoy doing things. I enjoy my Sunday. I'm watching from 7 a.m. throughout the day, and I watch you. By the way, CBS is one of my favorite news stations.
Well, we appreciate
and
that.
I get up at 7 to start watching it, okay? And the other ones are the local ones, 8 and 5.
Yeah.
But I really feel strong about wanting to also get local content of what's going on here in the community.
So you treat this as really your health, mental and physical.
Especially mental.
Yeah.
Physical, I have over 100 parachute jumps as a Green Beret Ranger.
I was going to ask you
And
about
so,
all that.
At the end of the day, I'm glad I wasn't 6'5" because I probably wouldn't hit the ground as easy as I am at my height. But also because, if you can keep your mind and body in sync, and I don't mind saying to this, I have let's call it therapeutic back rub every 2 weeks. And I do it because it relaxes me, because with all the kind of activities in the military I did, is that, you'll see me when I'm either on city council or now as mayor, I'll get up and walk around a little because, I don't bounce out of bed like I used to. I kind of have to roll out of bed. So I'm trying to make sure I'm in sync, body and soul.
So let's talk about I was looking up your bio, and what an impressive resume that you have. You're President and CEO of the United States-Mexico Chamber of Commerce to this day.
Yes.
You co-founded and were CEO of PAS Energy, right? Yes. You're a retired Major General in the U.S. Army,
yes.
So thank you for your service. You've been awarded a Silver Star, 5 Bronze Stars for Valor, a Purple Heart, and 30 other awards during the Vietnam War era. And you were awarded the Joint Service Commendation Award for Desert Shield, Desert Storm, Restore Hope in Somalia, and Restore Democracy in Haiti. So when you look back at all, that's mighty impressive. And I didn't even get into your other jobs in the federal government. But when you look back at your experiences, how did that prepare you for being on city council and being mayor?
Jack, it's really fundamental in that you deal with the people that you are either working with or you're in the military, obviously commanding or being part of that unit, or in the nonprofit world. And my nonprofits that I've run, because when I retired from ARCO in 1994, I took over head of the U.S.-Mexico Chamber. Not a penny comes from government. It comes from our members, corporate members, or small, whatever it might be, but business sector. And I'm a big believer that I come from an era, and because of my father, who was definitely a role model for me, to where I feel very strong about that if I can participate and be one that can bring whatever experience that I might have, military, government at all levels, private sector, and nonprofit. Sitting on the city council and then now running for mayor. It was like the evolution of somebody that really believes in public service, believes that if I can bring something to that role, maybe with experience, maybe some wisdom with my age, and hopefully some energy.
So what do you want to accomplish?
Good question. And I asked myself that once I got elected. I kind of didn't know what I wanted to really focus on. But I'm unabashed about one thing, and that is I won with 67% of the vote from every one of the precincts. And we are one of the, if not the diverse city in Texas. That meant, and I worked at this for my 8 years on the city council, is that the diversity is irrelevant because, like the military, I didn't look at your skin or your last name. We wore the same uniform. Well, I look at the same way with people that I had to be representing on the city council and now as mayor. So, to make a long story short, I felt that now, after the period of time and all the services that I had, that Irving was at a point that I felt this would be the right time for me to run. I'm termed out anyway. And so I said, I can bring a lot of experience and hopefully some wisdom to this process, but I represent the whole city and all the diversity. That has not always been here, but now we are going to be there and going forward. The other is, you asked me a very pointed question. I'm going to try to answer, what do I have on my head on my agenda? Number one, we have what I call a dead asset, and that's the 80 acres of the former Dallas Cowboys site, stadium site. It's been there 14 years.
Wow.
Not a penny coming in. If anything, maintaining to kind of keep it clean, so to speak. And some of the other things, but that's a focus number one. What can I do in these 3 years that I'm now the mayor to find the right partner to come in there and do it together with us, because we own that 80 acres. We don't want to just sell it. We want to do a joint effort. Why? Because I want to bring in the kind of tax base. I want to bring in the kind of jobs, economic development, which you're going to probably ask me, well, what about the 200 plus acres that are adjacent by the Adelson family at Sands Corp? Great. They're a partner, but they're not on that site, but we can be partners. And I will say it very bluntly, as a city, we are not ready to even talk about gambling or casinos.
I was going to ask you about that.
Well, I'm putting it out front.
Yeah.
Okay, and that.
You're not interested.
No, because you know why? It's illegal.
Well, it's against state law,
Thank
obviously.
you.
Yes.
But there are 4 casinos with gambling in the state of Texas. They happen to be on a Native American reservation. So don't be telling me, no casino, no this and that. We're not going to do that on that site. We want a professional team there. And whoever that is, I'm telling you, this mayor is open for business. It's that simple. And whatever our adjacent partner may or may not be, doesn't matter. I'm there. They're paying over $1 million of tax in that ownership of those 200 plus acres. Well, they're part of the city. And so I'm looking at, how do we make all that work? Because if you drive down 114 between where you and I are sitting,
Yeah.
and Loop 12, it's empty. We don't want it empty. I don't want it empty. Because again, that's jobs, what I call economic development. That's also taxes for amenities of a park. DART is that they want to participate once we are going to do something, because their line comes right through the middle of
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so number one priority. That's what I want. It's not the only thing.
That's your top.
Yes.
And just on that point, I mean, are you looking at like maybe a huge entertainment district with restaurants, et cetera? Are you looking at apartments and, work, eat, play? Or are you looking more of like a corporation to come in and build, a headquarters?
I'm looking for all of that.
All of it.
I people say, well, do you have a vision? Yeah, my vision is to really not only be a mayor that is actually looking at development. You know, one of the things we're trying to deal with is, in fact, affordable housing. Well, that's got to be a mixed-use development, which means it has everything all above. It's got to, you're hearing the term destination.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, I'm a big international guy. On the 31st of August, we are having our summit we do every year on actual infrastructure. There's an international component. I've got 4 council generals coming from this hemisphere. And so I'm trying to reach out and bring it in. Why? We're in the swing. I moved back from Washington, D.C. area 21 years ago. Why? I really believe this is not only the sweet spot, but the spot for North America and its development right here in the Metroplex. For too long, you got Dallas on one side and you got Fort Worth on the other side, and you got Irving in the middle. We have 40% of DFW Airport is Irving territory. Why isn't it called Dallas, Irving, Fort Worth? I'm old school on this. You want me to also take out something you'll enjoy? In 1974, I was a White House fellow assigned to the Secretary of Transportation, a fellow named Claude Breniger. And he asked me to, in my fellowship year as special assistant, to focus on 2 things: urban mass transit, and to help stand up that urban mass transit, what was it called? Organization at that time, because that's a whole nother story. And yes, we did it, and I was part of helping stand it up. And the second thing was taking and looking at the airport airways study that was bringing into regional airports. And guess which one I flew out here with him in 1974 for him to spade the first shovel of dirt at DFW Airport. And I'm saying to myself, whoa, there's nothing out here. Except now I'm here as mayor. I'm looking back. That was 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. And I'm saying, why isn't there an I in there called Irving? Well, now, okay, here we are. We're in the sweet spot. We've got some real opportunities. And I can get into the other kinds of things that are going, but that's my focus.
And so what are you doing to make that happen?
I gave you my number 1.
Yeah.
And we are having meetings. I don't mind saying this. We met with Brad Alberts, president of STARS, and his financial partners at I think up in the Plano area. But
Was this before they announced their...
After. This was just last week.
So you met with the Dallas Stars last week.
You know why?
Why?
They still have a skating rink, the original one, before they moved down to American Airlines. It's still here in my district that I ran up in Valley Ranch. Okay. They're still there. They're focused on youth and women, not just skating.
But they're not talking to you about moving the Stars there.
No, we never talked about that. Well,
Right,
we talked
okay.
about their vision and what they said to me and us at that time with my city manager and my head of the Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce, very pointedly saying, you have the number 1 prize site in all of Texas right there in the former Dallas Cowboys site. We know that. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, but we don't have $700 million, either like Plano. And I'm just playing with him a little bit. So, and he starts laughing. He says, no, we're not here for that. We think we have a vision for your site. And I said, really? Let's talk about that. They laid it out. And I said, yeah, that's interesting.
Can you disclose details?
No, because we haven't signed the letter of interest.
But we'll be the first to know about it, right?
Jack, you have my word.
Okay.
Because I haven't talked to anybody else. You're the first one that's asking me,
Yeah.
how do you plan to lay out your 3 years into this one. I gave you my number one.
Yeah.
This could be another option. It may or may not be, and I don't mind putting it out there, the Mavericks. I'd love them here.
Hey. You continue to, because I know they have their set side in North Dallas, but have you had conversations with them?
Yes.
Since they announced in North Dallas would be their...
Yeah, I mean, we have the site, Jack. And, you know, at the end of the day, I'm open to talk to any and all, to include them. And they know that. And we haven't closed any discussions with anybody. But the new one is with dealing with the Stars, and they were not talking about leaving or not going to do anything up in Plano. They're talking about a whole different application and vision that we might consider on our site.
Separate from the Stars.
Yeah, no, yes and no.
I mean,
yes
separate from the hockey team playing there at the arena.
Yeah, no, we didn't get into that.
Okay.
This isn't what they think that site can do there. Where are the Wings? They're not even playing in their own stadium. They're playing at one of the university gymnasiums, right?
But they're going to Dallas, though, right? Supposedly.
I can't do supposed. Jack, I'm laying the groundwork, okay? How about WNBA? Nobody's talking about them. Why not? We have a team here. They don't have a site. Oh, what about volleyball? Because that's what they're doing. If you look at their two new buildings that they built, one along I-35 and Valley View, what do they have in there? Volleyball, rink, basketball, pickleball. It's all the kinds of things that they see as more of bringing youth and families. And when you do that, then you're going to need the rest of the development, which is an interesting vision. You're not depending on one major, professional team.
Right.
Am I interested? Yeah, hell yes. I'm interested in all of the above. I mean, we've been dry in that location for 14 years, Jack. It's time to do something with it. Now, what that'll look like, we're starting to have those meetings. This is the first one. They came to us. We didn't go to them because they're looking at their vision because they know for a fact, if you look at the dynamics of the size of what revenue would come from an NBA versus a hockey team, and just on the ticket sales and where are they coming from, you can see the dislocation, you can see the difference. At the end of the day, they have to then look at how they can move into wherever they want to move, whether it's up in Plano, they like our site. Talk to us how you might be willing to do something with us. You don't have to move from Plano. You can keep the Stars up there.
Right, but for this other wider
we don't know
yeah.
until we see it.
Right.
And so we're in the middle of maybe on the discussion of when we're going to have that next meeting.
And again, just
Yeah.
to clarify, because we got some background noise here in this coffee shop, but you're talking about they were talking about the old Dallas Cowboys site.
Yes.
For there, and that's obviously very large.
Not to move from Plano.
Right.
Okay.
Not right. This is a different concept that they
Thank
have.
you.
To
That's
be clear.
exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
So let me ask you, because property taxes are a big issue, and we've heard from the governor and other Republican leaders in the next legislative session, starting in January, they want to have more property tax reform. And this time the governor's plan includes making it more difficult for cities and counties to raise revenue. And have you heard about this?
Yes.
Okay, and what do you think about it?
What I didn't tell you my other two areas of focus.
Okay, all right, let's go for it.
You know my background,
Yeah.
head of government affairs.
Yeah.
I've been in government. My focus, number two, parallel, is to work personally, Austin and DC. I have that background. And I have friends that are in the legislature, in both and in the Congress. And so when you play this game that you're playing with the legislatures, whether it's tax, whether it's development, whether it's water, it doesn't matter. You're dealing with a situation where if you're not down there early on, don't wait to the day that you're hearing, because it's done already. So I now was just there a week ago, yesterday, meeting with 3 Senate offices, the Texas Senate, from the area, as well as the governor's office on economic development and tourism. Remember I said international?
Yeah.
So you can almost figure out what I'm doing. Well, yeah, I'm going to be a presence down there because of my experience and relationships to kind of see how do we then help brunt some moves, trying to cut us back. They've already done it, Jack. They've cut the cities to include our city back how much of our percent that we can utilize and actually charge for property tax. They want to cut it again? Well, you know what, guys? Why did you have $33 billion, of which you take a big chunk from us every year from our sales tax and our property tax? Now you're going to cut that back? Oh, because you've got the money, we don't? We're home rule. Let us rule. Let us do what we have. That property tax then and sales tax goes directly to housing, development. It goes to amenities, which are parks and recreation, swimming pools, libraries. I mean, all the things that we use that money for. And by the way, we apply it based upon 2 focuses. Our infrastructure that we have to provide, water, sewers, streets, et cetera, et cetera. The other is, and we're in the middle of our budget process as I speak, Jack, and we'll finalize it by the end of August because we got to come forward because our fiscal year ends in the 30th of September. So what's the corollary to that? Oh, really? You want to cut us back more so that you're not hurting, but you're going to give it more to the school boards, or you're going to do more vouchers or whatever? Whoa, wait a minute. You're still harming our ability at our level to do the things to help our people that pay taxes. And you're taking away from us to then do more with what you want to do? I don't think so. So I'm here as a mayor that wants to work these issues. We're going to have water issues. We're going to have environment. Oh, we're going to have, guess what? Data center issues. And we have 6 right here, but we've done one thing during my time as part of the city council. We have put the ordinance and said, here's the places you can do data center, not in residential. So, you know, those are the things. So that's where my number 2 focus, parallel. And number 3 is to look at all the things to really enhance the economic development, the housing. We're dealing with homeless. We just have our shelters to try to deal with aggravated assault for families, et cetera. I mean, so we've got a lot of things that we're doing. And I think that's where, don't cut us back, because if you do that, you're harming our local population to do what you want to do, to take how you want to take and deploy the money. Then at the end of the day, it's called home rule for us to do what we have to do with property tax and sales tax.
We could go on and on and
Yes,
on,
yes, sir.
but I do have one last question for you, and that is...
Am I answering your points?
Yes, you are, and I appreciate it. I did want to ask you about data centers, which you brought up, and because there's a lot of angst and concern by residents, I'm sure you've heard it in your city as well, but you said something that I thought was really interesting, that, you know, unincorporated areas don't have the same luxury that the cities have as far as, okay, setting regulations and guidelines. What more do you think what you've done in Irving is a model for other cities without banning them outright, which may be against state law?
Well, San Marcos is trying it.
Right, they are, but that's probably going to be challenged. But do you think how Irving has handled it is a model forward for other cities? And what more do you think the state needs to do that would help you and your city deal with the data center issue?
Couple of things. First of all, we recognize we've had data centers, but not a huge million square feet data center.
Yeah.
And that impacts water, that impacts power. And one of the things we found out right away is Encore, because we actually approved one major one. And guess what? They're having to pull back because Encore has said to them, we can't get to your application for 4 to 5 years.
Wow.
So they're coming back to us. We just changed it and said, because they want to now do what we call fulfillment centers, where they, it's a warehouse, and like for Amazon or one of the major, Google's another one.
Sure.
And so we said, yes, but let me say something. We passed this for data center. Now, are you saying you want to change it? Because then what they have to do, they're looking for more truck traffic. They're looking for more parking. I said, so we negotiated this and we finally passed it last week, 9-0. Why? They said, yes, we'll forego and eliminate the passage, what we call a CU, which is our,
Certificate.
I wanted to know, it's the, I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
It's because I got a lot of things running through my head, but
yeah.
what it is, that you would forego the data center to get this done. And they said yes, because we have the 161 overlay, which is 161 highway and George Bush. And so we try to buffer for how far they can develop in. And that's where they wanted to have more parking and do the fulfillment center and move it away from what they had it laid out for the data center. And so,
But it was interesting that they couldn't get the power and the electricity that
so
they needed,
now,
right?
who has the control? Oh, the utility. Oh, what about ERCOT? What about, all the rest of the Railroad Commission? What about the PUC? I mean, you name it, that's at the state level. We can't affect that.
Right.
Now that's why the governor's up for a re-election, and the rurals are beating on him, and they'll say, hey, look, we have no control over here, or unincorporated. We've already taken the step. You asked me a question. We're one of a model because we're 167,000 population, okay? We're almost out of large space, other than the one I was talking about. So we had to figure out how we can accommodate it. Why? I mentioned to you, Jack, why I moved back here. Sweet spot. Oh, DFW Airport. Oh, love 6 major highways cut through Irving. 2 rail systems, plus DART. Why wouldn't you want to put data centers here? Well, you got all these major corporations here. So we're one focus. I'm not going to say we're the only model. We're one. And we did it the best we could to try to massage where this could go. Light industrial, all along, say, Route 12, Loop 12. So data centers, I mean, I lived in Northern Virginia. I know what it's like in Loudoun County, right next to Dallas Airport. And it is right, data centers right there in neighborhoods. We don't want it here. And that's one of the, and by the way, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m., we will be having, and you met one of my councilmen that is one of the ones that are teeing this up to talk about data centers. And we're opening it up to a town hall from 6 to 8 o'clock at City Hall. We want to hear what people think. But we know what Encore has already said to some of the developers. We've had 3 of them. We actually had 6 that wanted to come forward and put data centers. Now we don't hear from them because they're not sure they can get it done from the power side of it. So anyway,
it's a big issue for sure.
Yes, but we're taking it on because we don't want to walk away from it.
Yeah.
We got DFW right there. We got the airport right there. You look at how many Fortune, 500 companies. There's 9 in Dallas. There's 9 here in Irving, and almost the equal amount over in Fort Worth. Well, you know what it is? It's the airport.
Right.
moving back and forth.
Well, I've really enjoyed our conversation, Mayor. Thank you so much. Al Zapanta, Mayor of Irving. We appreciate it. Thank
Jack,
you for joining us.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah,
Look
good
forward
to
to doing this. We just started.
That's right. Good to see you.
All right.
Appreciate it.